Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to begin the funeral services of Mrs. Doris J. Kaufman. Rabbi Yitzchak Falk will be officiating. And for those of you who are here, we ask to be sure your cell phones have been turned off.
We are gathered today to give final honor and respect to Doris Kaufman. Our deepest condolences to her husband Harold, her sister Judy, her husband Paul, to her nephew Gary, and all of the family. I'd like to start with a reading from Rabbi Alvin Fine. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. But life is a journey, a going, a growing, from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength, or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, from grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking back or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage, made stage by stage to life everlasting. We're going to recite the 23rd Psalm. It is found in your pamphlets in English. We'll do it in Hebrew first and then together in English. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, benot desha yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yinahaleni, nafshi yishovev yancheni b'magle tzedek laman shemo, gam ki elech begates al mavet lo irara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha hema yanachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan neged zorai, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi rivaya ach tov v'chesed yurdifuni kol yemei chayai. V'shafti beveit Adonai leorech yamim. And together, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He lead me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Read a passage from Proverbs, Eshed Chayil. Eshed Chayil mi yimsa, barachok mipninim michra. Batach bale, bala v'shalo lo yachsar. A gallant woman who can find, far beyond pearls is her worth. Her husband's heartfelt trust is in her, and he shall lack for nothing. She bestows good upon him and never harm all the days of her life. She seeks out wool and linen, and her hands work willingly. She is like a merchant fleet, bringing her sustenance from afar. She arises while it is yet night, and gives provision to her household and direction to her maidens. She envisions a field and acquires it. From the fruit of her handiwork she plants a vineyard. With vigor she girds her loins and strengthens her arms. She discerns that her enterprise is good. Her lamp does not go out by night. Her hand she stretches out to the distaff, and her palms support the spindle. She spreads out her palm to the poor and extends her hand to the destitute. She fears not snow for her household, for her entire household is clothed with scarlet wool. Vine covers she made for herself, linen and purple wool are her clothing. Prominent in the gates is her husband as he sits with the elders of the land. She makes a cloak and sells it and deals a belt to the peddler. Strength and splendor are her raiment. She cheerfully awaits the last day. Piha patcha v'chochma v'torat chesed al lashonah. Her mouth is opened with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She oversees the ways of her household and partakes not of the bread of laziness. Her husband, he lauds her. Many daughters have accomplished well, but you have surpassed them all. Sheker achein v'hevel yofi, isha yirat Adonai hi tit halal. Grace is false and beauty is vain. A woman in awe of God, she should be praised. Give her the fruits of her own hand and let her deeds praise her in the gathering places. We are right now in the intermediate days, Chol Moed of Sukkot. Last weekend we had the beginning of the holiday. This coming weekend we have the concluding holiday, which in the Bible is Shmini Atzeret, is the 8th day. The rabbis have added onto this Simchat Torah, the rejoicing of the Torah that comes with the completion of the cycle. And there's something very unique when we look in Sefer Bamidbar, in the book of Numbers, when the Torah is talking about what the offering was, the unique offering for each day of the holiday. We see something with Sukkot we see for no other holiday. And that is on the first day, they would offer 13 bulls. And then each day it would go down by one, 13, 12, 11, etc., until on the last day, the 7th day of Sukkot, it was only 7 bulls. And then we get to Shmini Atzeret, the last day of the holiday, clearly connected, but yet not really part of Sukkot. If you're in Israel, it's very clear they do not go into the sukkah at all on Shmini Atzeret. But there's only one bull on Shmini Atzeret. It's very odd, right? We have this clear pattern, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 1. So what's the symbolism of this? So the Gemara in Masechet Sukkah says, if you look at the numbers, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, you add them all up, you get to the number 70. And 70 is the number the Torah has sort of assigned as the paradigm of meaning the nations of the world. All the other peoples beyond the Jewish people add up to 70, at least conceptually. That's what the number 70 represents. And that the 70 bowls that we offer throughout Sukkot are to bring blessings for the entirety of the world. But on Shmini Atzeret, we only offer one bowl, and that's for blessings for the Jewish people. And the Gemara gives a metaphor, and Rashi also quotes this in his commentary on the Chumash, that the metaphor is the king has all of his subjects for a great banquet for the entirety of the week. But there's one beloved person, as everyone is getting ready to leave, he says, I can't bear to part with you. Can you stay one more day? And just you and I will have a feast together. That's Shmini Atzeret. 7 days of Sukkot, it's everyone, it's the entirety of the world. Shmini Atzeret, which is coming this weekend, is just one. And Rashi says, the language in Hebrew is, Kasher alai preidatchem, your leaving is so painful and so difficult. I was thinking about Doris, and I got to know Doris over her time in North Shore Hospice, where I was a chaplain, and I originally met her when I worked a number of years ago at Park Plaza when Harold and Doris first moved in. And one aspect of Doris that stood out more than anything else, I think, was the incredibly close relationship that Doris and Harold had throughout their 53 plus years of marriage together. And I think this image of the Suda, the feast for two, and how hard it is for that leaving to happen, that's Doris and Harold in a way. The the closeness, the intimacy that the Midrash expresses of God and the Jewish people. That intimacy at some level, at its most human level, is the intimacy of a couple that is beloved to each other, that has come close to each other for so long, and it makes the departing so hard. But it reflects the deep love and care of 53 years of devoted marriage one to another. And this is a testament to Harold, it's a testament to Doris, their depth and the closeness of their connection, of their relationship. Doris was originally from Champaign. She got her degree from the University of Illinois in recreation. She went east and worked at a number of different programs for originally in Pennsylvania with autistic children, and then New York at another school. But she came back to the Midwest to live with Judy, back to Chicago, and was matched up with Harold. They moved to Skokie in 1970, where they lived until 2015, a very long stretch. Were active members at Temple Beth Israel for many, many years. And the last 4 years of their have been at Park Plaza, where I got to know Harold and Doris, and where has been a good home for them in their senior years. Doris and Harold liked to square dance. She was very creative. She would make some of their costumes. She was very active. She liked to do water aerobics. She was a really good cook. She was a very good baker. And most importantly, she was a very warm and genuine person, a very sweet person, a very calm demeanor. She was a very active aunt. Harold and Doris were very good to Gary and his family, a very active aunt with Gary's children, and really enjoyed that role and was very helpful to his family to have that connection with her, and really was something that was really very beneficial for both Gary's family as well as for Harold and Doris. She enjoyed celebrating Jewish holidays with families. Gary remembers that every year, the first night of Pesach, she would be there. Harold and Doris would be there, and other Jewish holidays, and how important that was for everyone in the family. Harold and Doris both loved together the performing arts, and were regulars at the Marriott Lincolnshire and the Light Opera in Evanston and many other venues. And this was something that gave her great joy, or gave them great joy, was participating into all these different performances they would like to go to. She was wonderful. She had a wonderful memory throughout her life. She was very good at knitting. She was a devoted sister to Judy. And she's someone who, because of COVID, we have a very limited group of people here in person, but many people really will love and miss very much. And most of all, of course, will be Harold, that her departure is very painful and difficult, and our condolences go out to Harold. And know that there are a lot of people in your family who love you and care for you and will continue to be there for you. We do not on Chol Moed Sukkot say the memorial prayer, but I will just say, I think, one line from the prayer, and that is, Titzror b'tzror hachaim et nishmata. Her soul should be bound up in the bond of everlasting life, and that everyone who loves you, Doris, will miss you, but we're happy that your suffering has ended and that you should have a final rest and be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. We're going to conclude with a final stanza of Tehillim, a final paragraph of Tehillim, this portion of the service. We're going to do Tehillim 121. Shir Lamalot, Segnai Harim Mayin Yavo Ezri. A song of ascents. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? Ezri me'im Adonai, oseh shamayim va'aretz. My help comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. All yitain lamot raglecha, all yanum shomrecha. God will not let your foot falter, your guardian will not slumber. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilecha al yad yaminecha. God is your guardian, God is your protection by your right side. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yareach balayla. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. God will guard you from all evil, God will guard your soul. Adonai yishmor seitecha uvoecha, me'ata v'ad olam. God will guard your going out and your coming in, now and forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, the services here at the chapel are concluded. Interment service will continue at Memorial Park Cemetery located at 9900 Grosse Point Road in Skokie, and the procession will be forming in our parking lot. Memorial contributions in her memory to her favorite charity would be appreciated. And at this time, I ask those of you who are able to please rise as we escort the casket of Mrs. Kaufman from the chapel, and then you may return to your cars.